Hello, everyone. Hi, welcome to this town hall. At the moment, it is just I, Jamez Hendry. I hope you're all very well wherever you happen to be on planet Earth. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty with Marc Jury, and hopefully he will be able to join us very soon. It is July after all. Okay, so we'll keep it relatively informal. If anybody has not been to a town hall before, this is a sort of general question and answer session. I'll give you 4 or 5 short updates, and then really it's up to you to ask any questions that you'd like to around what I've said, or anything else to do with WildEarth and any concerns or ideas or whatever it is that you might have. We can chat about those for the next half an hour or so. Okay. Like I say, Marc should be trying to join, and I'll introduce you to him when he does. First of all, I just wanted to quickly talk about the fact that we haven't done one of these for a while, and I think it's left some of you feeling a little bit like we don't care anymore, that we are becoming over commercial, and that we are perhaps not as sensitive to your needs as before, and we're not as appreciative as we might be. That really isn't the case at all. It continues to be an enormous honor to take you on safaris every day. I promise you, I personally read every bit of feedback that comes through on the support email. I don't reply to it all, obviously, but we do attempt to reply to as much as we can. Every bit of criticism that comes through, I do read. I can't always we can't always act on it. So, everybody's got very different ideas for how this show should be run. We get thousands of different ideas, and, often they are completely polar opposites from each other. So we do appreciate your feedback. We appreciate that you talk to us. We appreciate that you watch more than anything. And we appreciate the support that so many of you have given to us over the years. And we hope that you will continue to do so as we forge ahead into the future. Okay, so that's just a start off there. I will answer any questions, so please do send them through as and when you'd like to. And a list is sort of forming to my left. And once I've gone through these 4 little sort of pieces that I want to, we'll get to the questions. Okay. Firstly, our new team. We've got Marc Jury, who joined us as a hugely experienced media TV executive. We've always felt that we've lacked that in this business because, as you all know, or many of you know, we've very much struggled to make this a sustainable business. We've managed to break even from October last year. It's the very first time that this business has managed to break even, and it's largely on the back end of the travel business. You guys, a lot of you kept us going before we launched the travel business, and we've managed to cut our costs and redo the business and start the travel business. And in October last year, we broke even for the very first time. And we're still kind of sitting in that almost breaking even, not breaking even, then a little bit of profit. But basically, it's a flat line at the moment of breaking even, which is great. It's fantastic. It means we can carry on doing what we're doing. And you are a massively important part of that. So Marc has joined us as a TV executive with an enormous amount of experience, and he is going to help us hopefully take the media side of this business up to the next level. And along with that has come a chap called Sean Everett, and Sean Everett is a hugely experienced live sports TV producer. He's produced a massive amount of live sport, mainly sport, and he brings with him a technical and story know-how around live production that is going to add a lot to what we do. And I think there have been quite a few concerns over the changes to the live drives. I must just say that every time we make changes to the live drives, there are a lot of concerns. And then by the same token, there is a lot of positive feedback too. So I do think that there's an element of us having to get used to these sorts of things. But please understand that while I know that the things like the split screens are not universally popular now, we are listening to you. I promise you, we are listening to you. We are trying things out. We have to keep trying things out. But the essence of what we do is not going to change. A lot of you are very worried that we're going to just become a travel advertising company. No. Obviously, we are going to push travel because travel is going to sustain us into the future. And the more safaris we sell, the greater the number of locations we can broadcast from, and the greater the number of people we can connect to nature. That remains our absolute goal. Our absolute goal is not to make a huge amount of money. Our absolute goal is to connect as many people to nature as possible. We do what we do because we believe in what we're doing, and we really believe that our broadcasting of nature to the world is a force of good and positivity, and that really is the essence of why people get up and come to work for WildEarth. So please understand that in the context of the changes, and please try and be patient with us during these changes. I know it is difficult, and I know that some of the feedback has been very valid, and we will look at it, I promise. Just give us a little bit of time to kind of iron these things out. Okay. But I will take questions on that shortly. And then new locations. I think all of us were extremely nervous when we left Juma. It was a very sad time for us to leave Juma. I think it was, I was desperately sad for everybody, including me. I'd spent almost 10 years there. I do think that Chitwa has been an amazing host. Jackie's camp has been an amazing host. And now we're on Little Gowrie as well. So we have the same amount of traversing just about as we had before. And I think that those three properties have really delivered some phenomenal content over the last little while. And the addition of Sandringham, which is in a different area, it's in the Lowveld, but it's in a different area, has also added a huge amount. Totally wild area, amazing elephant sightings, mainly. Another leopard the other day we had. I don't know if it was a very long view, but we had a very brief view of one. The Black Dam Pride and all the stories there. So yeah, sad to leave Juma, but in some ways, I think it has been positive because we've managed to get onto other properties, and I think that we've had some pretty good content over the last three months. I think on Cedric's last stint, he had a leopard on every drive, just about. So that part of the world has been on fire and has delivered us some magnificent content. Then, now I don't want to get everybody's hopes up too much, but it looks like we are getting close to relaunching in the Masai Mara. Now, I don't want everybody to think that this is a fait accompli, that it's absolutely going to happen, but I do really want you to understand that this is something pretty exciting, and it's a possibility in the next couple of months. And I think that if we go back to the Mara, obviously we take that to a new level. And those of you who've been with us for a long time will remember David Gatamba Gitu, or Gigi. We've got him lined up. So if everything slots into place, we will have David live out of the Mara again before too long, and that will obviously be a massively exciting thing. The Masai Mara, for me, quintessential African safari. It really is, and we'll use it as a launch pad into the wonders of East Africa, just the most magnificent part of the world. Okay, Marc is still trying to connect. They're still having a bit of trouble, so hopefully he'll come at some stage. I'm going to start taking some questions from you now, and please feel free to send them through. Norm Farrington, good question. Can we have an update on the WildEarth Impact Foundation? Yes, Norm, you can have an update on that. The WildEarth Impact Foundation, for those of you who don't know, launched as a non-profit arm of WildEarth. so that we can tell conservation stories, and with ideally get them funded by corporate social investment, and that will not be part of WildEarth's profit making. It isn't part of WildEarth's profit making company. It's a separate thing, and we're hopefully going to be using that to, or you're definitely going to be using that to empower and train new young filmmakers to go and tell conservation stories. At the moment, Norm, we've raised just shy, if I'm not mistaken, just shy of R500,000, which is fantastic. And we're going to start using that to create stories. I say we, it's not WildEarth, it's the Impact Foundation. We are all kind of helping with it at the moment, but it is a totally separate entity from a governance point of view, and it has a totally separate board of directors. And yeah, so it's ticking along. Yeah, it's going pretty well, and it's in fact applying for a film grant sometime soon, which will hopefully see the sort of start of actual productions. So it's really difficult and I guess a bureaucratic nightmare to set something like this up, but now it's perfectly set up, and it's a public benefit organization in South Africa, or an NPO as we call them, non-profit, and with any luck, soon it will be producing some stuff. So good question. Thank you for that, Norm. Meerkat 10, at least some new plans with the renewed management teams. Well, yeah, the plans are, I think it's probably a good idea just to quickly state that our mission to connect people with nature has not changed. So we bring on Marc with his TV experience, and Sean with his TV experience, and we've got a bit of also storytelling experience in the post-production side from the guys who made Chasing the Sun, which some of you will have seen. And the idea is that we continue to do what we do, and that we take Africa to the world, and we bring the world to Africa. That's kind of in a nutshell, in two sentences, what our North Star objective is. And we think that that's the best way for us to be sustainable. We want to connect as many people to African wilderness as we can in the most sustainable way possible. We know that not everyone can travel to Africa. We understand that. We know that a lot of South Africans can't even visit half these places that we broadcast from. And so that media part of the business is just as crucial as it always was. Democratizing access to some of these magnificent wildlife spaces remains an enormous part of what we do. So please don't be put off by the fact that we're trying to make profit out of travel. I think it makes sense for us to do that, but what we're doing really doesn't change in terms of connecting people with nature. Okay, Meerkat 10. Paul Rizzo. James, is there any chance of returning to Juma? Paul, no, not at this stage. The Juma guys are doing exactly what they said they were going to do. They are not doing anything with Juma. Yeah, I'm not sure. We haven't spoken to them for a long time, but I don't think there's any change there, and I can't see us going back to Juma anytime soon. Is there a chance in the future? Who knows? There could be. There could be a chance in the future. I think my phone is making a noise. I don't know what noise it's making. Probably ding. It's every time Final Control shouts at me, which is all the time, by the way. Steve D, what extra benefits will the new management bring to the table, given that they have no direct experience in wildlife and conservation? I think I've answered that. We've kept on the wildlife side of the business. I mean, that's largely what I'm in charge of. So, that stays in place, and the new team comes on with massive media experience and a massive connections in media, and an idea of how to run a big media business. And so that's what the new team brings to us. I'm afraid they've now given up on trying to get Marc to join. He's sent through his apologies. He's having a lot of technical challenges. They'll keep trying, but at the moment, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to join us. Anna Marie, any new safari venues coming in the future? There you are. I've told you about the Mara. We are looking at others as well, north of our border. I've always thought that for the ideal drive, you probably want 4 or 5 um, 4 or 5 feeds for the live drives. I think that works best. I think more than that, and you start to lose story and you start to lose connection. And so, we're looking, that will be the ideal for us to have continuously 4 or 5 locations. So maybe some locations, a bit like Mabula and Amakala, wonderful partners to us. They're really, both of those places have been amazing to us. They're not on at the same time. And hopefully, we'll get a couple of other locations in that sort of vein. Pam, will we ever get the show back? That was about 30 minutes. It was a recap of the day's safari. Oh, Pam, you're talking about on safari. No, the on safari as we had it before won't come back for various reasons. But we are working on a new highlights show, which will go out once a week. Kyle, who is our post-production head, is working. In fact, I should actually get him to come to one of these things. It'd be nice for you to meet him, I think. And he's working very hard in the background on a highlights show from the week, which will have everything from the week, the best highlights, and we'll play that out once a week. So the daily one probably won't come back, but a weekly one, yes. Oh, thank you. Hi, James. Just a huge thanks. And I just love we and all that you guys do. Thank you very much. I'm not sure who that's from. Any updates on we's new permanent home? WildEarth's permanent home. I don't have an update on that, I'm afraid. So we're still looking for a permanent home. And for those of you who don't know, a permanent home allows us to have 2 crews in one place and the ability to bring guests in. And, if we want to interview somebody or bring in a conservation expert, then we can do that. And so we're still looking for a permanent home. And hopefully that will come in the next little while. I must also just say that the Timbavati Safari Lodge guys, that's where the Sandringham crew is currently hosted, have been the most phenomenal people to us. They have bent over backwards to help us and look after us. And so just a big shout out to them. And if you are going to the Kruger and you're looking for a good value kind of place to stay, great food, and a really nice vibe, Timbavati Safari Lodge is where you should go. You can drive straight into the open gate, be at the gate before anyone else. Darkman Lover, can the split screen image be in the more safari theme color instead of the bright orange? We're definitely looking at that. We are absolutely looking at that. So you're not the first one and not the only one to comment on the bright orange. I tend to be not particularly artistic, so I didn't really mind it, but there are a few people that have said they don't love it. So we are looking at that. Just give us a couple of weeks to kind of ease into it and figure it out. Jilly, I think I've answered that one. Will we have a permanent base in the future? Puma Conqueror, would we have any plans to expand to other continents, India or the US, so there's more live drives during the day? Look, I think in the long term, yes, there is, Puma. At the moment, no. At the moment, though, we're refocusing on Africa and what Africa can provide from a live perspective. Sean, who has been making some changes to the live shows, is interestingly absolutely in love with live at the Waterhole, and he has some ideas to make that longer, punchier, and utilize that more. So that might give us more live content. Also, if we go live in the Mara, if we're back in the Mara, we would probably be able to extend both drives by around about an hour, depending on the time of the year. And then you'd have, say, Mara for 1 hour on its own, and South Africa for 1 hour on its own, and then everyone together for the middle section, something like that. So maybe another 2 hours or so of live drives during the year, at least during the day. So that would make a difference to more live stuff. Evening, James. Nadine text, please advise why Tau Madikwe is still being shown on we LATW cams after a message from support. We no longer affiliated with Madikwe. Wild at Heart, we are, I'm not sure what that meant when affiliated with Madikwe. It's not that we're not affiliated with Madikwe. Well, we're not. We don't broadcast live drives out of there anymore. We use the Africam cameras, one of which is at Tau, and so we use that periodically. Yeah, I know that they have their troubles, Madikwe, at the moment. but I think that I think they've been probably quite poor at uh, giving information out. But I know that a lot of the stuff that's in the media is just not true. So look, they've got challenges. I don't want to comment on their challenges there. The tower is still a great camera, and Madikwe remains an important conservation part of South Africa. So we're not going to just not use that camera. Evening, James. There will be a second vehicle on Sandringham in the future. With luck, Amanda, there will be another vehicle on Sandringham. They are building a lodge. Sabi Sabi's building a lodge there at the moment, and they are, they're unsure the impact that lodge is going to have and the number of vehicles they're going to have. So I think they're just trying to assess exactly what's going to happen there in the future. With any luck, we'll get a second vehicle there. But at the moment, what a privilege. It's so nice to have Sandringham with one vehicle on 4,500 hectares, no one else around. And then we've got the Sabi Sands, which is a much kind of buzzier, if you like, safari venue with lots of guests excited going out on drive, and the guides on the radio, and it's a different vibe. And I like the fact that they offer both. I really think that both are a really nice option in the Lowveld area. Paw Patrol. Could we please run specials for long-standing WildEarth subscribers? Our rands don't go that far. Wash hands. Is that what that means? I'm not sure what wash hands means. Yes, we will be. Just watch this space. The entire Explorer idea is going to be kind of rehashed in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, we'll definitely be. We will definitely look at that and keep you posted. Viv P. I should probably be quite careful about just reading these out before I've vetted them. Who ultimately owns WildEarth now? Who are the shareholders that would ultimately share in future profits? The major owner of WildEarth now is Andre Crawford Brunt, and that's because he has funded it out of his own back pocket for a long time, along with a few partners. So I can't comment on who is going to share in the future profits. I'm not sure. Will Mabula still remain as a location, alternating with Amakhala? Yeah, at the moment, Mabula and Amakhala, the alternating stuff will stay the same. And that's Milo 68. And just again, those guys have been wonderful, wonderful partners to us. And what variety they've offered. And amazing that they both get us an art Wolf periodically. Just such nice diversity to have that we don't get in the Lowveld. Wonderful to have both of them there. Although Eric is obviously freezing cold up at Mabula. He'll travel down to Amakhala tomorrow, almost sort of a homecoming for Eric, and he'll be back at Amakhala. All right, so here's a tricky one. Lisa Mariah, you say, how will you ensure that WildEarth ethical guiding and education around ethical guiding in South Africa and in the Mara? Some recent activities have been lacking, in my opinion. Will we commit to ethics over profit and media hits? So, Lisa, I think that there's been an enormous kind of, what should we say, explosion in awareness around what people do because of social media. There are a lot of opinions flying around. There are a lot of opinions flying around that have no context to them. There are a lot of opinions flying around that are valid to a certain extent. I don't think social media is the place for these things to be discussed. I don't mind you asking this question here. I really don't. I think it's a good question. And I think that certainly my opinion as the guy who has to be in charge of how we operate our wildlife operations, I don't think that we've ever been about sensation. There have been times when we have overstepped the mark, absolutely. And I think we've been relatively good at admitting to those times. I don't think that we do things just for clicks and for you say here, will we commit to ethics over profit and media hits? Makes me think that perhaps you think we don't, that we are perhaps putting profit and media hits over ethics. I don't think we're doing that at all. I really don't. Final control, we can keep going for 5 minutes. We don't have to stop at 5 minutes, so we can just keep going until we've dealt with all of these questions, because they're good questions. Yeah, so I don't think we do that, Lisa. I think that it's very important to understand that first of all, we are live all the time, which means that if we make a mistake, it's live. And a lot of guides don't get that. And a lot of guides will make a mistake, realize they've made a mistake, not do it again. We don't get that choice. Sometimes we do make a mistake and it's live and we get hammered. And sometimes that's okay, I mean, if we do something wrong, we should be pulled up for it. But at the same time, I think to some extent, I think there needs to be some trust of the fact that the people doing this job do it because they love wildlife. They want wildlife to be sustainable. There are lots of very sensationalist people out there who put out stories on Instagram, etc., who I wouldn't hire to be on screen for us, because I don't believe that they do have conservation and ethics at front of mind, and I don't believe that we have those sorts of guides operating for us now. I think we've got some massively experienced people. Can we do better? Should we always look at ourselves and how we interact with wildlife? Of course we should. And we will continue to do so. And every Tuesday morning, we have a meeting. The entire crew meets and we discuss these sorts of things. And so I'm comfortable that while we do make mistakes, because that's inevitable, I'm comfortable that the ethics and our standards and our guiding protocols are such that we're not endangering wildlife, and that our effect is far more positive than it is negative. And maybe it's time I shared what we call the law of presenting, which is the document that we have that every new guide gets. So yeah, I would just urge you to understand that we don't. Some of the stuff going on social media is without context, and I'll take the example of the fact that Eric viewed cheetahs on foot at Mabula, and it seems to have created a bit of a stink, and people are having a go at him. And that's, if you go and watch the sighting, there's Eric. The cheetahs are not reacting to him at all. It's something just that you can do with cheetah, because cheetah can be rewilded. It's not like doing it with a leopard or with a lion. Those cheetah are completely rewilded. They hunt on their own. Everything is context specific. And I think it's just important that we understand that. We don't mind you asking the question. We really don't. And thank you for taking the interest in the animals and in their welfare. But please understand that we really do have the best interests in the sustainability of African ecosystems at heart. Okay. Viv P. Any plans to make the travel experiences accessible to local South African viewers, or completely out of our budget range? Viv P. Yeah, look, there are plans afoot. They're not advanced at this stage, but there are plans afoot to put together a more kind of budget offering, if you like. And absolutely, we'll look to that, and we'll keep you posted on it. But sometimes it's not possible, and it's very difficult. But yes, there are plans afoot at some stage. Judy Ditchfield. Any chance of some of the old guys doing stints like Tristan and Jamie? Yes, when both of them, especially those two, if they only have to put up their hands, I've given them both an open invitation. Tristan is extremely busy. He is all over the world. I think if he's at home for 10 minutes in the year, it's probably a lot. Jamie, likewise, very busy with her with her final year in veterinary. Yeah, I obviously would be lovely to have them both back periodically. And, I'd love to have them back, but I'm so glad that they are. I mean, certainly a guy like Tristan is doing so well. He's really shooting the lights out as a private guide. I just wish he posted more of his photographs because I really think he's the most fantastic photographer. And Jamie, Jamie's just too busy, basically learning how to be an animal surgeon. I'm in contact with her regularly, and yeah, we have a good laugh periodically. But if we're lucky, she'll give us a couple of days now and then. Pangolins galore. Will there additional travel options coming out for 2026? When will they be announced? Pangolins galore. Yes, there will be additional travel options coming out for 2026. No particular date on when they're going to come out. And I do think that you just understand that we don't only do the ones that we offer. So you're welcome to just get hold of us and say, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and we'll put that together and cost it for you. So it doesn't have to only be the ones that are offered there. You can just phone us up and say, I don't know what to do. What do you suggest that I do? And we'll help you through that process as well. So, don't feel you have to wait for us to announce new trips. And if you've got an idea for one, maybe and you would like to combine it with another 6 people or 4 people to make it a bit more affordable, get hold of us and say, can we try X, Y, and Z? And we'll see if we can. Dark Main Lover, will WildEarth hire brand new naturalists at any other locations? Dark Main Lover, yeah, sometimes. We're going to have to. If it all goes according to plan, we're going to need more guys in the field. And so, yes. Look, I mean, as many of you will know, having watched for a long time, it's not always easy to find the right experience, age, and willingness to be in the bush for long periods, skills in front of the camera, etc., etc. So yes, of course we will, but it's not always that easy. It really isn't. Monique, are we getting season 2 of the Wild Show anytime soon? No. Monique, I would say that the Wild Show developed what could only be described as a very small cult following. I thoroughly enjoyed making it. I don't think we're going to make another one anytime soon, I'm afraid. But we'll hopefully make something relatively similar, perhaps. Perhaps. I've just got a message from Final Control to say, yes, very small cult following. We'll make some other amusing content, hopefully, in the near future. Sharon, James, it sounds as if WildEarth personnel salaries will increase a lot with new TV experts. Will that be sustainable? This is one of the ones I should have vetted before I just read out. No, personnel salaries are not going to increase at all, Sharon. Everything is being done on an extremely conservative basis in terms of salaries. We have an accountant called Willem, our financial controller. And Willem, I got to tell you, it's hard to buy an apple these days at WildEarth, and that's exactly the way it should be. He's fantastic at keeping the purse strings in check and making sure that we don't spend too much. So yes, all new personnel coming on board are being brought on in an entirely sustainable manner. Dark Main Lover, you are busy this evening. Will bushwalks come back? Hopefully, yes. I'd love them to. With any luck, they will. Dark Main Lover, will sunset drives stay 3 hours or eventually go back to 4 hours? We're not going to go back to 4 hours with the current cruise, no. That was firstly exhausting. In summer, it was a complete waste of time. And by the time 4 o'clock came around, everyone wanted to just dive into a waterhole and sacrifice themselves to a hippopotamus. So no, that's not going to happen again the way it was. Like I say, if we get more locations, then you can start to stagger starts and that sort of thing, and that makes a big difference. And then, yes, hopefully we can expand the live offering. Yeah. Paul, James, I like the segments where guides get off the vehicle and showcase the smaller things. I know logistically it's difficult, but a bushwalk a few times a week would be great. Yeah, Paul, there are a few things that we can do without having to go full bushwalk. Getting a bushwalk, you have to, you've got to get a scout who's armed, because it's, well, it's illegal to go walking without that out here. Well, it's not necessarily illegal, but it's not a great idea. And if you're going for long walks, for long tracking walks, you need an armed game scout to do it. We don't have that, and it's obviously it's a difficult thing to do currently where we are based. But we are able to do more and more off the vehicle. We've got longer cables. We've got a wireless system that we're setting up. So, I think that especially, at Sandringham, we've had those amazing sightings of the elephants in the river. There's some beautiful places there on the bank that you can't get to in the vehicle, but they're not far from the bank that you can walk to and view elephants without them knowing that you're there. And that's great. So that kind of thing, hopefully, we'll be able to do more of. I would Mac 23 GLS. I would like some Wii merchandise available here in the US. The ones I have are getting old. Mac, you can just go to ruggedwear.co.za, ruggedwear.co.za, and they'll send to you. You can just order there the WildEarth stuff, and they'll package it and send it off to you in the US. So you can absolutely do that immediately. Steve D. Who is controlling WildEarth with regards to future direction, Andre or the new management? A bit of both, Steve. Andre is definitely taking a little bit of a step back. He's an extremely busy man, and so the future direction is largely being driven by Marc and Sean and me to some extent, and we are all kind of driving it in the same place. But Andre is still in the background with a very beady eye on everything that we do, which is great. Anita, are all of the guides for FAGASA trained or licensed? So Anita, FAGASA is not a training authority. They don't train anybody. They do give a license, or they give a qualification that most of the training providers will kind of give. All of our guides have done a FAGASA qualification of some description during the course of their guiding. Yes, they all have. FAGASA, for those of you who don't know, is the Field Guides Association of South Africa. Steve D, do you have an update on the fundraising done by the Impact Fund? How much was raised and what is planned? I think I answered that at the beginning, Steve, where Norm Farrington asked that one. FC, dam cam issues. Okay, so dam cam, the Jackie's dam cam, wonderful location, beautiful dam, lots of action going on there. Very tricky from an internet perspective because it's in a hole. It's in this kind of shadow that makes getting internet to it quite tricky. So we are working on that. There's no kind of quick fix for that, I'm afraid. I mean, the easiest thing to do would be to put a Starlink there, but we're going to have to wait for our friend Elon and our government here in South Africa to make friends, at which point it all becomes very simple indeed. But it's very tricky at the moment. We're making it work as best that we can. Sometimes it does go off when there are guests, when the landowners are there. They do ask that it's switched off for their privacy, but it should be up and running now. And I know that there are challenges, and I thank you very much to the Zoomies especially, who have been so very patient working on that camera. Dilla, #WildEarth. Can we not use the damn dash cam so much, especially when driving? It makes you feel queasy. I'm sorry, Rhonda, that it makes you feel queasy. The dash cam is one of these things that it has had. It's exactly what I said at the beginning. You get totally polar views. So some people think it's the most wonderful innovation in the world. Other people just really can't stand it. So Rhonda, while you're not alone in your dislike of the dash cam, you are certainly poles apart from some others who are huge fans of the dash cam. We hear you. I think we don't use it a huge amount while we're driving. I'm sorry it's making you feel queasy, but we'll definitely take that on board. You've asked another one here. You've said, doubt will get read. Well, here we go. I'm going to read it for you, Rhonda. But here's my 2 rands worth. What makes you think these changes are what the viewers want? We had something raw and special. Now just getting as a travel show with a few wild animals. Sorry, start watch for 10 years. That is not what made me fall in love with the bush. Well, Rhonda, I'm sorry you feel like that. I don't feel like we are showing you fewer animals at all. I think we're at more locations now. So I think compared with 10 years ago, we're definitely showing you more animals and more places. So it's not just a travel show. And I think, as I've explained, you know, in order to be sustainable, travel is probably the best way for us to do that. And so we are going to do that. Yeah, I just don't feel that that's necessarily fair. That we're showing fewer wild animals. I think that we're showing a lot more than we were 10 years ago. 10 years ago, we were only in Juma, and there were 3 guys driving around Juma, and that's all we had. Now we're at 5 different locations periodically, and looking to go to the Mara again. So, I'm sorry you feel like that, but I'm not sure that it's. We'll endeavour to keep bringing you all of the stuff, or all of the animals. And yes, we will be selling travel at the same time. Free Spirit, please offer more cost-effective options for wee safaris. Glamping even would be a great option. Free Spirit, glamping is glamping is often more expensive than the bricks and mortar stuff. But yes, like I say, we will be looking at that sort of thing. We will absolutely be looking for that sort of thing in the future. Jackie, darling, I love this channel and what you have to say. Do to stay afloat. It's okay by me. Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate that. And then, thank you, Billy. This is the last one we have. Huge thanks to everyone at WildEarth for incredible work you do. I may not always be able to watch the live drives, but whenever I do, I feel completely transported. I absolutely love the stunning landscapes, the amazing animals, the awesome guides. Thank you, Billy, very, very much indeed. I also want to say thank you to the moderators who spend a great deal of time watching every drive, all volunteers, and they make a big difference to our drives and to moderating the chat. So big thanks to them, and to all of you Zoomies who Zoom the Dam Cam. Also, thanks to all of you. Okay, everyone, a big thank you, Judy. A big thank you to big apology from Marc. I haven't, I'm afraid, been unable to sort out his technical problems. I will send Marcel around there to his house tomorrow with a large stick and a screwdriver and see if we can't sort that out. And next time I can introduce you to Marc. I'm sure he's seen that most of you are actually very nice, and so I'm sure he'll want to join next time as well. All right, I think that's probably it, chaps. Mark has just sent a message saying he's got serious FOMO for having missed out. I think he was very fired up for this. So I'm sorry that he wasn't able to join us. Thank you very much, everyone. I think that's going to be it. We went on for 45 minutes, which is pretty good. We will do another one of these. Keep asking. Please keep watching. Please understand you are heard. We can't implement everything you suggest. We do try to implement as much as we can and make as many people happy as is humanly possible. But it is difficult to keep everyone happy, and we are doing our very best. And we truly, truly appreciate the time and the effort that you give us. So thanks very much, and we'll see you on Tuesday on Safari.